Warning. This month's podcast is about movies with murder, sex, orgies, and leather. If this sort of thing offends you, you should skip the block. This podcast is sponsored by Table Rock Creative Group. Unique video for your business.
Lieutenant Williams, please!
Here we go.
Doug Wall, Lee Bridges, Garrick Lane. Welcome to Tales from the Video Store. Giallo section, bitches.
It's Giallo, bitches. That's a pretty good opening there.
Like that.
Yep. How we doing, guys?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good, I guess. Got a little bit of paint on me. My son's birthday's today. I had to paint another rock last night, so.
Happy birthday, River.
There we go.
There you go. All right, let's get into it. What do we watch? Anything good?
Go ahead, Doug.
I watched some things.
Yeah.
I watched a few things since we last met.
You had to make up for that week and a half that you didn't watch anything.
Right. A couple things real quick that I watched. I'm not going to go into great detail because they certainly just don't deserve it.
Okay.
I watched Holmes and Watson, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Question.
Okay.
Why?
Jody brought it home. It's the only reason, and I thought, all right, let's see. And I'd heard it was horrific.
Right.
That's a reasonable question.
I wondered why if you had like something like, fuck, I think it's going to be funny.
I think he fell on his head or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It was not very good.
Right.
You know, and I'll just leave it at that. If you're big fans of theirs, give it a shot. It's got a few moments in it that are worth it, but
yeah.
All in all, the movie's just ridiculous.
It won a bunch of raspberries, didn't it?
Yeah.
Or was nominated for him?
I also watched Glass.
Right. Garrick's favorite movie.
Yeah. It was fucking terrible, man.
Thank you. I can't believe it. We see eye to eye.
Well, Shyamalan does his thing. He makes his movie, but once again, he gets in his own way and ruins everything. An hour into the movie, I was enjoying it. I thought it was a cool story. I was like, all right, man, you're back. Like, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then he fucking ruins it. And I don't know what that is. It's like a fatal flaw in his, as a writer or whatever it is, and it just
That's how I
fails.
feel, too.
I just don't think he should ever. I think this is it.
I think it's spot on, too, because I read, and I know you guys hate the reviews, but I just use them as references to outside people.
Yeah,
Because there's
sure.
only three of us in this room.
Right.
But I remember one guy saying, it started off really good, and
Right.
then he just kind of set a bomb to himself. Like, he blew himself up. And you had said right before we went on air that he was doing fine, and then he just hung himself halfway through.
It's so weird. You know, and the big shock ending was just, it was the most contrived, ridiculous ending. Like, you're going to put this footage on the internet?
Yeah.
Really? And that's going to shock people? Or, like, let them see the light? That's all that movie's going to get.
I am not giving movie another second.
Yeah. Then I did watch something that I actually wanted to watch. I watched The Mule last night.
Okay.
With Clint Eastwood. It's more than likely, by the looks of him, probably going to be his last movie as an actor, I would say.
I think he's already dead, but he's still done 3 movies. Like, it's great.
I think he'll probably continue to
produce.
produce, and he may direct again. I don't know. I don't know what he's got in the pipeline. But it's just a silly kind of movie, really. Just the whole premise of it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This 90-year-old becomes like the top drug runner for this cartel. But just watching him was enjoyable. And basically he's the same. If you like Gran Torino, then you will like this because he's the same character.
Right.
You know, he's old, Korean War veteran, racist as they come. You know, he does his thing.
So he's my dad.
Yeah, exactly. But any fans of Clint Eastwood, I recommend to go see the Swan Song for sure. Not his best, but you know, I'll let you guys watch it and judge for yourself. But I would recommend it to anyone.
I just like Clint Eastwood,
Yeah,
and he does play the same guy over and over. The only character, it was the same guy, but it was in the West.
Right.
And that was Unforgiven, and that was great.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's Clint Eastwood.
Right. I think the movie I rewatched a few months ago was the one where he plays a Secret Service agent. John Malkovich.
Gosh.
See, he's a different
Line of Fire.
in Line of Fire.
In
He's
Line
a different because he's kind of a douche. When you realize the movie, he's kind of a douche in that movie.
Yeah, he is.
And that's probably the only movie I can think of where he didn't play Clint Eastwood in the last 20 years or 20, 30 years. Because like you said, every other movie, he's just Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
But then again, that's what you want to see.
That's what you want to see. It's just he's.
It's like Paul Newman. Paul Newman was Paul Newman.
Yeah,
you
just
came
about
to
everything.
see Paul Newman.
Right.
And that's what you came to see.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to watch something to kind of tie into this Giallo section.
Yeah.
So I watched 1964's Blood and Black Lace.
No doubt.
Is that Mario Bava?
Mario Bava.
It was remastered in 2018, and that's what I watched.
Nice.
That was on Prime. It's got the trench coat, it's got the gloves, it's got the mask.
Yeah. It's really the first full-on Giallo, I think.
Hot women, great lighting, all the signature things of all the Giallos that we've seen so far. My only complaint about it, and maybe it's because it was one of the original ones.
Yeah.
It's and you've heard me complain about the randomness.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really apply in this movie because there is no randomness, really.
No.
And it's not really very graphic.
No. But also, they weren't really doing graphic movies then.
Right. It's more like a late 50s like thriller mystery kind of is the way.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I felt watching it.
Right. Now, at the time, I'm sure it was considered very graphic. Like when he puts the girl's face to the furnace.
The bacon face girl, yes.
And the big medieval claw.
Which I love the claw.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. It was ominous in some spots. I just wanted more action, and since I've gotten, this taste for these kinds of movies, like this one just wasn't Giallo enough.
Yeah. Well, see, it's really like some people consider the movie made before that, The Girl Who Knew Too Much. It's really that's more of just a Hitchcock ripoff.
Right.
This one is kind of like they're putting it together. Although you should watch it because the camera work is amazing.
It is.
Which one is this?
The Blood
and Black
Blood
Lace.
and Blast, yes.
Black
That's all
Lace.
my. See, I'm getting so
And
far behind.
but if it makes you feel any better, nobody got paid.
Really?
Yeah, like the actors, him, like apparently once they got done, the producers just disappeared.
They just said, "All right, thanks, bye."
Exactly. So I mean, he was like, he could have been like the biggest horror movie director ever. He just didn't want to leave Italy. Like he had offers to make movies in America and stuff, but he was just like he didn't really speak really good English but his camera work
it's badass. It looks great.
And his dad, his dad was a silent movie effects cameraman, so he knew how to do all these a lot of the trick shots like they do in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
So he knew how to do all that stuff. And if you see a lot of his early movies like Black Sunday, you definitely see how that informed Bram Stoker's Dracula. But he was just awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he was a guy like you give him $1, he gets you something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might not be the greatest thing in the world,
Right, but it's something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this was. It's something.
Yeah.
A lot of people consider it a classic, and maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Up to your taste.
Now let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you think I've always thought that Kevin Williamson saw that movie when he was writing Scream because the whole two killers thing, the mask. The end is very Scream-like.
Really similar. Now that you said that, I didn't really think about that until you just.
Yeah, because but also at that time in the '90s, nobody ever seen this movie. So if you've seen it, it was a movie just free game to rip off.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
The plot is very similar.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it really is. Interesting. Yeah, and then
I haven't seen it. I can't relate.
Yeah, and then I watched. I finally got around.
You were painting rocks.
I got my HBO turned on, and I finally got around to watching the 3rd season of True Detective.
Oh yes. All right. So, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
It doesn't really matter because the point is it's fucking terrible, and there's a lot of it needs to just stop. And I hate that it ended the way that it did. 6 great episodes.
Nobody
and 2
cares. By the time
Terrible.
by episode 7, nobody gives a shit where that girl is, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Pointless.
Nobody cares. But the first 6, the slow build, all the back and forth, up until, like you said, until Dad comes in, Tom comes in, walks into that thing, and this is a spoiler, so if you're going to watch this.
Just walks into the pink room.
He walks into the pink room. Right then, you're like, bam.
I was
and
like,
then
here we
there's
go.
a guest cameo on the next episode, first thing, and you're like, All right, here it comes. And then it just never happens.
Yeah, never did. It was.
It looked so good, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. The cinematography was great. The music selection. I have the music selection in my playlist. Like, it's got great jazz, great stuff. Everything about it was great. Besides
the story.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the acting.
The acting was great. I
Skeet Ulrich should be back in the limelight. Did I just say Skeet Ulrich?
Except he wasn't in it.
That's right.
Stephen Dorff. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Skeet. Or sorry, Steven.
They both work at the same Jiffy Lube, so I understand that.
Well, okay, so with that said, Dorff should not be working at the Jiffy Lube anymore.
No, he's always been a good actor.
He stole the show.
He was really good, and
yeah.
like I said, everybody that was in it, I felt like did a pretty good job.
His wife was so good. She was really good.
It just, it didn't work. And I didn't think I could dislike something more than season 2 until I watched season 3.
So you actually disliked 3 worse than 2?
It's not even close now, man. That's how bad this was to me. And it's not the whole thing was bad like we talked about, but the way that it ended, it just ruined everything that he had built.
He had built up.
Yeah, it just was terrible. And then I watched something fucking horrific. I watched Leaving Neverland. Mm-hmm. The Michael Jackson documentary.
Annie, are you okay?
And
are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Pretty rough, man. I'm glad that he's fucking dead. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, here's what I'm not seeing it, and I'm not going to see it. But let me ask you a question.
You don't want to ruin that Thriller jacket that you
still No, it's just that. Do you think it will convince anybody?
It won't.
It won't, because like when R. Kelly was arrested a few months ago, his fans paid off his back child support.
Yeah.
So the people who are going to believe him already believe him, and the people who already think he did it already going to think it.
And
it's not an exploration. To me, it's just an exploitation of these people's pain.
Yeah, and they waited until he was dead to finally say it, because he had paid them off. I mean, I 100% know that he did all that. 100%.
Yeah.
I thought he was the best thing ever when he was the best thing ever.
Well, and as did these children.
Oh, I mean, he was. I mean,
that
Thriller
is the bomb.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, just like his first 2 albums were Off the Wall and Thriller.
Even the King Tut one with Eddie Murphy.
But talent doesn't erase scumminess.
I know.
So I mean,
and it was something that, I mean, this has been whispered about for the last 25 years. It's not like this just came out. I mean, I remember.
I haven't seen it. Is it really bad? Is it hard to watch?
Just listening to these guys that are now adults.
Yeah.
They're now a little bit younger than us. They're probably in their late 30s. Talk about meeting him and basically like falling in love with their idol, who's telling them, this is how we show how we care, how much we love each other by doing these acts on these children and with these children. It's just, it's hard to watch, man. And it's like 4 hours.
Did he pay those parents off for him?
You'll just have to watch it, man.
It's the same thing as
it's on HBO.
It's like the whole Catholic priest thing. They have a position, and they use it against people.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy, in the late '80s when this all, and early '90s when all this kind of transpired, and that's why he was able to dupe the parents. He was best friends with the parents. And they went everywhere with the kids and with Michael. But when it was bedtime, the kids went to Michael's room, not with their parents. And that's where they fucked up. And this happened for years. And one of the women, the two mothers of these 2 guys are interviewed during this. And one of them is basically, she's like, I did everything wrong. I completely let everybody down. I let my son down. I let my family down. And she's kind of hated. And the other one is like, once you look at everything that happened and how he kind of manipulated the parents, she's like, I just didn't understand. You just couldn't see it coming because you look and it's Michael fucking Jackson.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He's the most famous person on earth.
Yeah, so
it's Michael Jackson. There's money. There's everything there. Everything's great. That could possibly be Michael Jackson that's touching my...
Right.
It's touching. Like, he can get laid, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, people say there's a lot of that, man. Like, people get it, like women get into bad relationships, with men that manipulate them. They don't even realize they're in it. They don't even realize that 10 years of their life has gone by and they've been in this awful relationship where they've been cheated on. I mean, it's the same concept. It's the same thing.
Yeah. And then, there's a time in this where, one of the boys is kind of pushed away as Michael gets a new kid that's like his new protege. And listen to him talk about like wanting to please him and get back in his good graces and the things he was willing to do in order to do that. But we're talking about the mind of a 12, 13-year-old. I mean, one of these boys was 7 years old when this started happening. So,
so
it
makes it like if Superman came to your house.
Yeah, and was like,
you love
hey,
Superman comics.
Come spend the night.
Yeah, exactly. You would be like, of course I will, Superman. I mean, it's like he was that. Almost young people today, I don't think they can understand how huge he was.
Right. Because there's nobody like that today.
Yeah, nobody.
And
not like that.
They don't
not
have
like that.
We don't have those people anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe LeBron James, but
this is actually something a coworker of mine, when I talk about the people who will believe him, is a post they shared on their. I'm not gonna say who it was because she's a super nice lady, but it basically says Michael Jackson tried to buy Sony, dead. Prince tried to buy Warner Brothers, dead. Bill Cosby tried to buy NBC, jail. So basically, people will keep believing, opposite. No, this has nothing to do with Prince. He's just dead. But
but the conspiracy,
exactly. And I looked it up. Sony called us is worth about $40 billion. I don't think Jacko had the scratch. I'm gonna be honest with you. But if you give people a narrative, that it reinforces what they believe, they'll go with it.
Oh, and once these grown children came out and made these accusations, they show some of the vitriol that the internet and people who are Michael Jackson lovers like posting these things, just saying, "I hope you fucking die. How dare you?" And all, it's all you can really do in this situation.
They're still seeing Superman,
right? Exactly.
And
one of these guys, he went to court. He testified for Michael and said that he never touched him, and he knew all along that this had happened.
Right.
And it took him becoming a father himself and looking at his child and thinking, "My God, like." Yeah. Could you imagine my child doing the things that I did?
Yeah.
And that's what spurred him into wanting to kind of renege on what he had said. But like I say, fan or not of Michael Jackson, and the subject matter is it's tough, but it's an expertly done documentary.
Yeah.
And
Oprah. And what's funny is Oprah Winfrey backed that. So for anybody that thinks it's a conspiracy, Oprah Winfrey backed it and interviewed those people. It was her that said, "We're going to take this to light."
Right. There is a little after this. There's like a 45-minute, I want to say, sit down with Oprah and these two boys and a crowd of people doing like a Q&A and kind of going over all this stuff. It was, feel like great documentaries, and you're not worried about the subject matter, something that you feel like kind of looking into.
Right.
This is a really good documentary.
Like I said, I couldn't make it to that Netflix Keepers documentary.
It's tough, dude.
It's not. I just can't do it.
About halfway through the second one, I looked at Jody and I had my hands on my face. I was like, I've heard I can't hear another tale or another story about what Michael Jackson
it's only that you want to watch it so you'll be informed. But at the same time, your brain is like, fucking shut it off.
Yeah, I was in like child rape overload. Yeah, and it's like enough is enough. I just could hardly even stand it.
Yeah.
Well, great. There you go. So don't watch that if you want to continue to wear your red and black Thriller leather jacket and look in the mirror every now and then and do the zombie dance in your backyard like I used to do. Don't watch that movie.
Yeah, but that was like last week.
I know it was. Well, actually, it was a couple weeks ago.
But anyway, that's what I watched.
Anyway. Okay, well, cool. Well, Doug watched everything.
I watched everything.
You pick a flick and let's get out of here?
Sure.
God, we're already running over.
I know, right?
Sorry, everybody.
I only watched a couple things. I watched... I was wanting to watch something sort of Giallo-like, but all the ones on Prime I'd already seen or wasn't interested in. So I rewatched I Saw the Devil from 2010.
Okay.
Korean horror film. very Giallo,
Inspired.
The color, the color gels and stuff, you could definitely see it. But it's about a guy who's serious. And I mentioned last week about how, like the cop we're going to talk about in the film tonight, in Giallo films, they're inept. But this is kind of like a guy going after that type of killer. If he was just like he's a secret. He's in the South Korean secret service.
Right.
And his girlfriend gets killed, and he basically gets a tracking device and tracks down the killer. And the killer's played by Odusan, the guy who played the hero in Old Boy. He stuffs his tracking device down his throat, knocks him out, tracks him, and then lets him go. And every time he's about to do something terrible, the secret agent guy just busts in, beats him up, and just injures him in some way. Like he slices a Achilles tendon. And this, eventually you start to feel bad for the killer. At one point, he's just like, "What's happening?" Because I just want to kill. He's like, "Please leave me alone." But it's like a lot of Korean movies. It's about 20 minutes too long.
Right.
It's 2:20, but it looks amazing and it's phenomenal.
Oh.
And I saw The Devil. I believe it's on Shudder, if I'm not mistaken. And it's great.
Nice.
And the only other thing I watched besides that was, let me see here.
It was so terrible you couldn't remember.
No. I had in my mind. I'm just blanked on it.
You were thinking about Michael Jackson.
I was. Well, anyway, but I watched a fantasy movie that I've never seen before.
Michael Jackson.
No, it was called Hawk the Slayer. It was from like 1977, and basically it's like a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
What?
But very low budget.
What?
And Jack Palance is the bad guy, and the only thing I could think was he must have had like a mortgage due or something, because he's just, I don't know why he's in this movie, because he was freaking Jack Palance.
Yeah.
But he's this,
is it better than Deathstalker?
Yes, I'll say so.
It's better. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like Krull or even above Krull Conan level, but it's better than a lot of the ones that came out afterwards. But it's more like everybody's wearing clothes, like they're wearing sort of like medieval like clothes you would see like at a Renaissance fair. So it's not like barbarians; they're more like, it's more just like medieval.
Gotcha. What's it called? Where's it on?
Hawk the Slayer. I saw it. I don't even remember, some streaming service. I think it's on Prime.
God, they've got everything on that.
But I wouldn't watch it again. Very low budget, but
you got through it.
I got through it, And it was I mean, like, here's the thing. That's a movie that could be remade.
Right.
Like, Hawk the Slayer is a movie that, like,
See, now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of movies I want to see people dig in and try and remake and make something something from nothing.
Something from nothing.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Well, I tried. I had a rough week. I didn't get to watch much, but I started a Giallo movie. Your Vice is a locked room, and only I have the key.
Nice.
It was a random pick. I didn't read. I just went into Prime and said, I actually searched the genre, and it was one of the first ones. I was like, all right, I'll pick it for the poster.
Right.
It was okay. The only problem is about 40 minutes in, I got distracted.
Yeah.
And I had to step away from it and never got back.
I
So I'm going to give you the first Tales from the Video Store broken review. The first 40 minutes was excellent. I'll get back to you next week with the last 40.
Okay. What is the general premise?
The scumbag, and I had his name down, but the lead is a total scumbag, and he beats on women. Imagine that.
Okay.
But women that he's tied to start dying. And you can't figure out if he's
Not by
doing
his
it.
hand,
Yes,
or
and
maybe
he's
it is. Okay.
Yeah, well, and he's a total drunk. So the way they do it is kind of maybe he's getting drunk and can't remember and killing these people. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to be honest. If I had to make an assumption, I would say that his wife that he beats on is going to be the one that's doing it.
Right.
That's my assumption. I won't know until I finish it.
Okay. Right.
It is very well lit, just like all the other
of
ones.
them. Yeah.
They look great. Lots of sex. He forces himself on two girls. There's a great lesbian sex scenes. Fantastic. I mean, it rivals some like real good stuff like, what was that one, man, with Nev Campbell and Denise Richards?
Wild Things.
Yes.
Oh. All right.
Or Black Swan. Even the 15 seconds in Black Swan. That's good stuff. Anyway, but I can't give you the second review. And the other movie, go ahead. The other movie I saw was A Star Is Born.
How was A Star Is Born?
You know what, man? I hate it, but it was good. And I'll tell you why. Because Sam Elliott is fantastic. Bradley Cooper, I've never seen him so good ever. The character he plays, the way he plays it, everything. It's an actor's piece. I can understand why Mark liked it so much because that's what it is. It's it's an actor showcase. You've seen the movie a gazillion times.
Sure.
But however, the way that Bradley Cooper and the way that Lady Gaga play it out makes it fantastic. And at the end is freaking terrible. And I'm just like, man, it's just, I don't know. I would say it should have been in the best picture category. But as far as like best acted movies of last year, hands down. It's really good. You got to see it. You got to see it just for Bradley Cooper, like what he does with this character.
Right.
Dude, your heart's bleeding for him, man. He's just, it's crazy.
Wasn't there, what was the movie, came out a few years ago, kind of the same kind of premise. It was like an old country singer. And
with Jeff Bridges.
And he kind of gets this young girl.
Crazy Heart.
Isn't it basically Crazy Heart, but with fucking Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
Crazy Heart was about his struggle.
Yeah.
And him trying.
Yeah, she's not a singer in Crazy Heart.
Yeah, she's just a guy that
she's a journalist.
Yeah.
Trying to get his story right.
And and Lady Gaga is somebody that just literally Bradley Cooper's character stumbles across
at a strip club, right?
Yeah, and she's singing, and it's at a drag club, and he's hammered, and he doesn't want to go home because he's he's freaking drunk. Like that's what he does. So he's like, I got to go get more hammered. So he finds one place open. It was a drag bar, and it just so happens that Lady Gaga has friends there, and they allow her to sing Italian music. And so she's up there, and she looks like a drag queen, and she's singing it, and he just gets captivated with her voice, and then that kind of turns into a friendship, and then it's pretty cool. The next day, his driver comes up, knocks on her door, and says, Jackson Maine, his character, wants you to come see him in freaking Colorado. I'm supposed to take you to the airport. And she's like, I got to go to work. She goes to work, employer cusses her out, like real disrespectful. She walks in, her gay friend says, let's go. And next thing you know, they're on the jet to the band, and then it goes from there. And then she puts her on the stage, and you've heard that same old song and dance. But the what's good about the film is their dynamic, and the acting is great. Sam Elliott is freaking great, and he's only in like 4 scenes, and those 4 scenes are ridiculously good.
Nope.
That's fine. I'm just telling you. I understand why.
Be a cold day in hell when I sit down to that fucking movie.
I understand with there's so many actors. There's so many actors that are in the guild. They're in the Screen Actors Guild, right, and in the Academy. I understand why it did so well because the acting is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Bradley Cooper doesn't even sound like Bradley Cooper. He's like some other dude. Like he's completely some other dude.
Good. Cool.
All right. There you go.
You renting it tonight, Lee?
No.
Okay. Fine. See, I knew it. I almost didn't even want to say anything to you guys. I was just saying. I'm just justifying it.
I was going to throw it off on Doug.
I didn't say it was awesome, and my nipples are hard over it. I'm just saying, hey,
don't be so sensitive.
I'm not sensitive.
You're a little sensitive.
Calm down.
I just knew it was coming, and I've had like 3 hours sleep. And I don't know. I really don't. I'm not. You know what?
Relax.
This morning, I'm not in the mood for confrontation. I do not need confrontation this morning. I do not need confrontation.
It's not still the morning.
Oh, yeah. All right, so there you go. That's what I watched.
Okay.
Let's get into this.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into the Giallo end of the pool.
Okay.
Giallo taste, yes.
Yeah, so this week we're doing, for our second week, we're doing Lucio Fulci's The New York Ripper from 1982. And last week we did... That's actually pretty good. Last week we did one that I would say is, last week was a fairly classy Giallo.
100%.
I mean,
in comparison with this,
there's nudity, but I wouldn't say it's explicit. There's violence, but I wouldn't say it's explicit for a normal person. For a Giallo, Torso's a fairly tasteful movie.
very tame.
All right, we're going to go 180 degrees in the opposite direction. Lucio Fulci was a good director, but he was extremely hit or miss. And he just did not give a shit. Like, I've seen interviews with actors, and they were like, he never read the script. Like, he had a girl with the script, and she would come up and tell him this is what. He would go over to the camera guy, they would frame it, and he would light it, and he'd have the actors say it, and it's all going to be dubbed anyway. It's going to be dubbed in 17 different languages. Right. So their performance didn't matter. Because I would say most of those people were probably Italian. And so he would just, shoot it and, check the gate. Looks good. Moving on. And you can tell, like, there's a movie on Shudder called The Beyond, which I think is by far his best film. It's this insane movie about a hotel that's built over a portal to hell, and just it's crazy, but it's really well done. Then you have movies like The New York Ripper, where he did just for the money. But that having been said, it's about a killer who kills women by stabbing them in the vagina, and he talks like Donald Duck.
Or cutting a nipple in half.
Cutting a nipple in half.
That was a rough scene.
There's always a lot of these movies have eye damage. Like a woman gets a big wooden shard to the eye in Zombie. For some reason he loves stuff happening to people's eyes. And
you can't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Doug, what did you think of the movie?
It's softcore murder porn.
Yes.
It is 100% softcore murder porn. I mean,
130%.
The opening scene takes place. Well, maybe it's not the opening scene, but
the opening murder, the first murder,
the first scene.
You're at some kind of porn shop where there's live action on stage. There's a crowd. This woman is hot to death watching it.
No, that's the second murder. The first murder's in the ferry, isn't it?
I can't remember.
The first sexual death.
It gets graphic.
The first death is the stupid dog that goes after the ball and brings back the arm.
Oh yeah, but that's that death's off screen. I thought the first murder's in the ferry when the girl's trying to.
It is.
Yeah.
She's in the thing where they're carrying all the cars.
Yeah, but nobody cares about that one.
That one was kind of tame. It was extremely tame compared to everything else.
That's why we don't remember that one.
Right. Now, the one you're talking about does have a very inventive shot in it.
It does.
Because he stabs the stripper or the sex worker in the vagina with a broken bottle.
Yes.
And then you see a POV shot of inside the bottle. So he did a POV shot of her vagina.
Yeah.
Which is the coolest thing ever.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not an artist. It's like the difference between Ridley Scott and Tony Scott. Yeah. Ridley's an artist. Tony was a craftsman.
Right.
He was just, make a movie about planes. I got it. Whatever. Like, Lucio was, they wanted a movie with lots of death and murder.
And they got it.
They got it.
It's ridiculous and silly in a lot of scenes.
Yeah, all of it is.
But you tie that in with the salaciousness of the subject matter and what's happening to these women and how graphic and gruesome a lot of these murders are.
Yeah.
And then you tie in a bunch of nudity into it. It's something like when I was 10 years old, this would have been my favorite thing on earth.
Yeah.
And I probably saw some of these Giallo movies when I was young like that. I just never revisited them.
Right.
I hate to say that it's degrading to women because I hate to say that or to use that kind of terminology.
Oh, this movie's very degrading.
But it is very, very degrading to women.
Now, from what I understand, like, he directed for 20 years before he did horror movies.
Yeah.
And apparently he was married to a very attractive, well-off German woman. And in the early 1970s, she just took him to the cleaners in a divorce. And, Enzo Castellari, the guy who directed the original Glorious Bastards, he was living on his couch. And basically how Lucio got the job directing Zombie was they called Enzo. He's like, I don't do horror movies. He's like, but...
I got it, somebody for you.
He's like, if you'll wait a second, I have your director here. And just handed the phone. He's like, I got you a fucking job. Get out of my house. Yeah. And so basically that's how he became a horror movie director.
Right.
And the weird thing was he said none of these movies will ever be remembered. That's why he made them so explicit. He's like, no one's going to ever see these things.
Yeah,
they're going to play in a theater for 6 weeks and they're done. But I cannot name a movie he directed before like 1970. He directed musicals and comedies and things that just those movies have been forgotten.
Well, he described this guy that you say doesn't remember. He described the New York Ripper as a tribute to Alfred Hitchcock. He also called it a fantastic film with a plot.
Yes.
So I guess so let me get So they must have been after they finished writing the script, and they were on the third revision.
Yeah.
The person he wrote it with was like, wait, Fosse, we don't have a plot. So he goes, oh, okay, Faye can be Olympic athlete, and Dr. Peter's daughter will never be good at anything because she doesn't have an arm. That'll be good enough. He'll sing duck songs, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, that's what this is not a movie you watch for the plot.
No.
But also he was probably promoting the movie at that time. And if you've ever met an Italian person, they tell you everything they do is the greatest thing ever.
We promoted Badass Killers.
That's true.
I actually spent time on a trailer for that movie.
Oh,
so
I know.
Yes,
That
I
trailer
get
is
it.
still
I
on YouTube.
100% agree. You got to do what you got to do.
I mean,
I will say this. Of the movies that I've watched, this one, when I hear the term Giallo, this one is more Giallo than the rest to me.
Right.
Because it is ultra random, it is super graphic, it is nudity everywhere, hot women, crazy duck killer voice guy.
Right.
Awesome soundtrack, the lighting, I mean, all the shots are beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's a train wreck of a movie. I mean, it really is.
It's just, I always find it interesting, like how other things from a specific country influence movies.
Right.
Like in America, like a movie we watched like a month ago, State of Grace. It's not a Western, but it still has that man's got to do what a man's got to do type morality that Westerns have.
Yeah.
And you can say that in gangster movies or revenge movies or whatever. But in Italy, their sort of thing that they created that is, I think, opera. So everything in Italian movies is bigger than life, So I think the reason these movies aren't very realistic is that's sort of what their starting point is. They're not trying. He's not Paul Thomas Anderson. He's not trying to give you an emotional,
and he's not
journey.
trying to be.
No. He's trying to make something big and bright that you'll remember, and you won't want your money back, and for 90 minutes you have a good time.
And that's this.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. And I'm sure, like, before he died in like 1996, if you asked him about this movie, he probably couldn't have remembered it.
Maybe not.
Like, what was that? Oh, yeah, I guess I did do that.
Yeah, you say so.
Yeah, because I've got a book called Spaghetti Nightmares. It's got just interviews with all these guys. Yeah. And he hated everybody. Like, they bring up Argento. He said, that guy ripped me off for everything. I'm like, really? Like, he thought he was, like, he's Italian. Yeah. He thought he was the greatest thing. I'm the best. Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you want to see an extreme Giallo, this is the way to go. It's on Prime. Won't cost you anything.
It is. If you want to jump into the
now, when the hooker is killed, when the detective's girlfriend's killed, that one is uncomfortable. Because the rest of them, like the girl getting stabbed with a bottle, that's so cartoonish.
He's carving her up.
Yeah.
Cuts the nipple in half in that one scene. You're just like,
it's rough. It's rough. Yeah,
it really is.
And although when the killer's shot in the face, that's so awesome because his cheeks just explode.
Yeah.
And so I say, if we're going to rent, not rent.
Oh, it's a rent for
you
sure.
You got to rent. You got to see it.
Absolutely. This is a must see. I mean, this is a must see. I mean, it really is.
This is Doug's A Star Is Born.
This is the best. This is. I mean, I've watched
this genre. It's a must see.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially if you've never seen it. If you're just getting into Giallo movies.
And you don't want to tiptoe in. If you just want to jump right into the deep end.
This is the deep end.
This is the deep end. I can imagine one of these movies being more Giallo than this.
Yeah.
Like more graphic,
more sexual. Ones that are more stylized, more cooler looking, but not more.
I mean, it's got some heat to it.
Oh, don't watch it at your parents' house.
No,
and don't watch it with any kids around or really anybody. Just watch it alone.
Get like a tablet that has like a mobile hotspot and go in a parking lot and sit in your car by yourself and watch it.
God, you could actually probably get arrested for that.
You probably could. They're like, sir, are you watching the
what are you doing in your car? Yeah,
what do you think about it, Garrick?
I liked it. It's so inconsistent and it's so a mess.
Yeah,
but
I love the randomness. Though.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because when I watched it, and this is I'm probably gonna. Should I spoil or can I not spoil?
No, Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, skip ahead a few minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, we're ruining the delicate plot.
Yes, because the scene comes in with the girl and the little girl, Susie, in the bed, and there's a big old duck. Mm-hmm. And you hear the story of the duck going on, and you're like, okay, well, this is it. You know what I mean? And it all makes, it's the shots, the vagina shot, the nipple cut in half. That's the stuff that I appreciate.
And like every Giallo, it has like 5 red herrings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
it's always the doctor, though.
Yeah, it's
always the fucking doctor.
Right. But they do set up like that it could be the girlfriend.
Sure.
You know, like for being like, I'm trying to slag this movie off because I know it sounds like we're talking about it's terrible. But
the knife was a good idea too.
Right.
The bent knife.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
I was actually impressed with that. It's a little bit of cool. Yeah. The little.
It's a very competently made, completely random movie.
Yeah. There's enough in this.
Yeah.
For just about anybody who likes something, like if you love filmmaking, or if you like extreme violence, or if you hate women, or if you like Donald Duck, or it's got something.
If you hate Donald Duck,
or if you hate Donald, it's got.
You will at the end of this one.
Yeah, it's got some points, and it's got some beautiful moments. You know.
Yeah.
That I'll never forget.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad that it's one that I picked. I had no idea what it was going to be about, but. Thus far in the Giallo End, this is numero uno for me.
All right, I agree. I like this better than I liked Torso.
Really? Interesting.
I did.
Okay. I will say, if you watch this movie and you like it, there is a sort of sequel. A couple years ago, E-Bomb Press, a small independent horror comic producer, produced a New York Ripper versus Maniac comic, which has the killer from New York Ripper and the killer from William Lustig's Maniac, both which came out the same year, both take place in New York, and it's them, and the cover is really great. The only thing they did is they added a duck mask to the New York Ripper, which I think is actually an improvement.
Yeah.
But the cover is amazing, and I'll show it to you right now, here in 1 second. But yeah, so if you like this movie, you can actually buy the comic book and get more New York Ripper.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and if you've seen Maniac is a film, that's a movie that's very Giallo inspired. Mm-hmm. Like it's very.
I want to watch that one.
I think Maniac's actually really good. You know,
that was on our list at some point, Tom. Wasn't it?
Yeah, we can still cover it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so. If you like this, there's more. It's just in a comic book form, and like I said, it's a rent. As Doug said, it's a must rent.
It's a must rent.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a must rent. Well, and if your girlfriend's into this kind of stuff, you can watch it with her. You might have to pause it a couple of times.
If your girlfriend's into this stuff, keep asleep with one eye open. Because there's something wrong there.
For sure.
Anyway. And I say that with all the love in my heart.
One more to go, guys.
Yep.
We got opera to go.
Opera to go, yep.
And then we'll be moving on to what?
British comedies.
British comedies.
Yep.
Which will be complete opposite.
Little palate cleanser after this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, this is funny. Speaking of movies that are tied and good, and everything's good, and we don't have much of this, of any kind of disagreements here. My showdown is tied.
Yeah.
The Ed Wood against Edward Scissorhands is Tim Burton's movie with the most heart. It has 24 votes, and it is tied with 2 days to go.
See, I think that's awesome. That it just shows how much people like this.
I did not expect it.
I expected Edward Scissorhands to win in a walk.
Yeah.
But our group has a lot of serious film fans in it. So.
Oh man, I'm having a hard time keeping up with some of them. You and Casey and Zuko and a couple of these dudes, you guys are coming up with these movies. I'm like, this is my show and I don't know this movie. Like, what is this? It's crazy.
You gotta have a lot of free time.
I don't have any. I guess my 5 kids takes up all my.
Yeah, exactly.
Time. That's why I watch The Star Is Born and half another movie while you guys are clearing whole seasons. Well, let me go ahead and hit my my showdown this week. Speaking of seasons,
okay.
I wonder how many of our listeners have watched True Detective 2 and True Detective 3.
I would say probably a good portion.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
All right, so there you
probably
go.
so.
It's up in the air. We won't do True Detective season 1 because
No.
there is no comparison.
No, it's perfection.
It's right under Game of Thrones as the best thing that I've ever seen on TV. So, True Detective 2, season 2, and if you've made it through True Detective season 3, which one is better in your opinion?
Which one is worse,
Right.
in Doug's opinion?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, there you go.
No, I mean, let's go which one is better. Let's be positive.
Yes.
On the up and up.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the one that is better means that the other one would be worse.
Right, exactly.
So it doesn't. It just matters how you state the Facebook post. But there you go. Which one is truly better? It's up in the air, and it's definitely a close race. Season.
It's not
True
that
Detective-
close.
Well, it's not that close to you, but I think I like 2. I like 2, but I like 3, and I'm having a hard time figuring out which one I liked better. So we'll let our viewers, make that decision.
Okay.
You got another crappy movie I'm never going to watch?
I do. It's a movie. It's actually a fairly recent movie from 2004, and it's another movie that's very Giallo inspired.
2004.
2004. Yes.
That's not recent.
Well,
That's
compared to
20 years.
No. Okay. First of all, you're terrible at math. Anyway. But it's another Giallo-inspired movie. You guys might actually see it. It's called High Tension, the French film.
Yes.
And it's actually very, and also there's a lot of Maniac was a big.
Is that the girl with
Yes.
with the saw just running around?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Now the only thing is a lot of people hate the end, which I could give.
I can't remember it.
Well, then give it a watch. And tell me
I
what
am
you
going
think.
to give it a watch. I did see that movie.
Yeah.
I did like it.
And it's
However,
very
one that
cool
slipped through
movie.
the
Very
cracks.
it's kind of like New York Ripper. It's like a Giallo / splatter film. Like there's a lot of blood in it. And but I mean, a lot of horror fans know about it. A lot of people don't though. There was a time in the mid 2000s where there were a lot of extreme French horror movies coming out, and this was, I think, one of the best ones.
Yeah.
So just that's my pick for this week.
Very nice. High Tension. I remember that being good.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Nice.
it. The director, Alexander Aja, he's got a movie coming out that Sam Raimi produced this year. It takes place in Florida. There's like a Category 5 hurricane, and these people's house starts to flood, and it starts to fill up with alligators. And it's just these people trying to escape their house. It's like a 2-story house, but like the bottom half is completely full of alligators. It's called Crawl. And I'm actually really excited for it. I think the guy's Alexander Aja, he also did the Hills Have Eyes remake from I think 2007, I want to say, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I think that guy's a good director.
Yeah, High Tension.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody have any news? I have been driving and working, and I have not been able to keep up.
I've got one news story. Apparently, Glenn Danzig is going to direct a vampire spaghetti western.
Yay.
And that's it. That's the whole story. I just think
What?
I like saying that. I think it's
Where did you
amazing.
see this at?
It just came out today. New story
Oh
just came out
my
today.
gosh, that sounds awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Mother,
Yep.
tell your children not to walk my way.
I guarantee you, Danzig loves the New York Ripper.
Oh, I'm sure he owns it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, man.
there's no doubt.
Guaranteed.
The stuff he did with Danzig
Misfits.
the Misfits,
Yep.
it's just the artwork, like the stuff that he
Yeah.
approved, and the
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
that
he has his own comic book company that he publishes his own comics, horror comics.
That's going to be great. Is
Yeah.
is the material based on?
I don't think so.
Something.
I don't think so. I think it's because he's been talking about doing a movie for a while. Like I've read several things. He's going to start directing movies, but hadn't heard anything. But it just came out today, right before I left work. It's like to direct vampire spaghetti western. I was like, I love it.
I
Yeah.
like the sound of
Yeah,
that.
I do like the sound of that too. I like the sound of that. Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
That's it. Well, also, I think I messaged you guys about yesterday. The actor we talked about last week, Don Lee.
yes.
He's been cast in the Marvel's the Eternals, so that's cool. He'll get a big fat paycheck.
Yeah.
because he's a really
He's
cool
starting
actor.
to move up.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's kind of
Yeah.
starting to.
Yeah.
That's great.
I assumed it would either do that or like the next Mission Impossible or something. He's
Oh yeah, be
Yeah.
like a bad guy
Yeah.
or one of the good guys.
yeah. So that's awesome.
Well, you know what's coming. The 3-hour end game is coming. I've got my tickets.
Do you have tickets?
When is that?
26th.
Next Friday. River
Yeah.
and I are going at 2:00. Decided I
That's
was
a good
gonna go
time,
ahead
2
and
o'clock.
do it. I was going to go ahead and do
Yeah.
it and get it over with. And we're going to go see it. All the girls are gone. Golden ticket was sold out. They couldn't. They were like, we're so close to selling out that we can't even float you. You know what I mean? Can't even like
Yeah.
give you a discount. And I'm like, fine, I'll just buy them. Here we go. Bought me 2 tickets. I got them. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're right.
3 hours and 2 minutes.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And it already leaked. What happened? Did you see that?
No.
Oh my
Did something
gosh.
leak?
Yes. Don't read.
No, I'm not going to.
It's already leaked. The whole plot line and everything that happens and everything, it's leaked. People are awful.
They are.
I've never really understood the point of doing
Why would you do that?
I don't get it.
It's like the guy who did. There was a guy like years ago. Somebody did one of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, and he tracked it back to the guy who was cutting one of the trailers. You know,
And why? So that watched the movie and decided.
yeah. And like I said, I don't understand it because you don't get anything from it.
Yeah.
Like that guy who got a hold of the Hateful Eight script and put it online before it was even shot. You know, and it was like, why? I mean, I don't understand. Like, why ruin things for people?
Yeah, especially when there's no monetary value.
Yeah.
Like I can understand. Well, I would not understand because I'm in the business. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm one of those people. I go in and see somebody with a hacked Amazon Fire Stick, and I'm like, "You son of a bitch!
Yeah.
Like you're taking you're taking money out of my pocket. Pay
Right.
for that shit."
Yeah.
So I'm the same way, but if I can understand if somebody got the Hateful Eight script that Quentin Tarantino had, on set, he's got it, and he sells it to somebody, sells it to some hacker, who gives him $10,000 or something to pay his mortgage.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what's happening.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So there really is no like.
They're just doing it to be a dick.
They're just doing it to be a dick.
Yeah. Being a dick for just the.
So you can't get online and like Google Endgame for any reason at all because that Google link will come up.
But the people really need to Google it. It's not like they're like, is there another Marvel movie coming out? What was that movie called?
Yeah.
It's like they know. I mean, it's the biggest movie ever. I mean, I can't imagine anybody's like,
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Already sold out.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yep.
And it's funny because one guy said, well, it's not really a spoiler, and nothing's really spoiler to me because he's like, people, this is based on a comic book that they've already done.
Yeah, that's true.
He said, I've been reading Marvel when they were making the first Captain America and the Punisher with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, which I like. Granted, the 1990s Captain America movie is atrocious, even though it was directed by Albert Pune, who I'm sure everybody knows I love. But yeah, I actually like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. The only difference is I never understood not putting the skull on his shirt.
Yeah.
That never made any sense.
Never made any sense.
Because he looks like the Punisher.
What was the other one? Thomas Jane?
Thomas Jane and Ray Stevenson.
I like the Thomas Jane one.
Well, I like Thomas Jane, yeah. Yeah, I do too.
It's been some time since I've seen it.
I mean, but you're right. The 1990 Captain America, that's not a good movie. I've seen it many, many times, but it's not good.
Disney came up with that. They finally announced it. They've got their streaming service.
Yep.
It's $4.99 a month. All the Disney stuff from Netflix and all the Marvel.
$5 a month?
$5 a
That ain't bad. That's how much you pay for Shudder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. $5 more out of your wallet if you want your kids to watch the Disney stuff or you want to see the Marvel movies. It's going to be $5 a month. Maybe they'll do they won't do the backlog because they didn't. When did they buy it?
They bought
Iron Man 2? Iron Man?
2012. We were doing 2012. So it was right before the Avengers came out.
There you go. Well, get all your Marvel in if you're not going to get the Disney ad, or you're not going to get the Disney app because it's all going to be gone. It's all going to be gone.
It'll all go back in the Disney vault.
You got some good news. So Lee and I were going to go see Joe Bob, How Redneck Saved Hollywood on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was so stoked. And I got moved. A game got moved.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and then I can't. So then I took off next week because I'm doing doing a couple miles on the AT with my wife. So I'd already taken off 3 days.
Right, you can't take it. Yeah.
I've been so tired because I've been working every night. I let go next weekend. I let go. So I was one of those situations where I was like,
yeah, you can't do it.
I can't do it. So I'm not going to get to go. But Lee will give you a full report.
I will. Yep, meet Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah.
I've been watching his new show on Shudder. It's really good. It's basically it's his old show.
Are you watching the movie? Are you watching the movie as well, or are you just fast like?
No, I watched the movie. I watched Q the Winged Serpent the other week, and it was really good.
I love the treatment they're doing with the VHS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like our stuff. I would say he copied us, but I think he was first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's been doing it since like 80. I guess he was on the movie channel like 88 or 87, something like that. So yeah.
Mr. Rothstein, that's no way to treat anybody. If you can name that movie, guys, we'll give you a shout out.
Dumbo, right?
No. Don't ruin it. There you go on Facebook. The movie where Joe Bob said, Mr. Rothstein, that's no way to treat people.
That's right.
That was terrible. Was that terrible?
That's not a bad impression.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm not going to do it on Saturday, but no. It was, you know.
Oh,
Should I bring something to get signed?
You should.
Okay.
Yeah, here, take my journal.
I'm going to bring one of his books that I own.
Even better.
It's for me, not for you.
Well, I'm the one that's not getting to go.
Fair enough.
It's not fair, man. Golden Ticket is, speaking of in-game, Golden Ticket, they may be sold out, but they are also having all the superheroes, the Ultimate Experience out to the theater all day on Saturday. So if you can get tickets, then come out and see all the superheroes. I'll actually be out there filming a little bit before I have to, wait, that's next Sunday. It's next Saturday, the 27th.
Yeah.
See, I'm backwards. I will be there filming, so come out and say hey and hang with the superheroes.
Awesome.
Is that it?
That's it.
I think that's it.
Golly, that's it. We're a little bit short today. You guys want me to sing a song?
No.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Do we have any other announcements?
No, just, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, And if you whatever you listen to, give us a review, good or bad. Well, it's up to you.
Yes.
Preferably good, but,
We definitely need the subscriptions and we definitely need the reviews, recommendations on Facebook. I promise.
Share us. Share.
I'm getting these videos. We shot some videos here in the studio, and I'm going to get them out to the public. It may be next summer, but I'm going to get them out.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to show our faces, though. I think it might take our
mystique away.
It might take the mystique away.
I think we're fine.
I think we're okay.
All right, then. Well, that's it. Till next week, keep watching the films. This is a Mad Tea Party production. Thank you to our other sponsors. Golden Ticket Cinemas, $5 movies all day on Tuesday. The Spot Toys in Newton, Hanukkah. The Dugout, Hickory, North Carolina.